What's up, poker players? Hope you guys have been killing it out on the tables. Took a couple days off, but hit the tables hard again yesterday and got some really good sessions in, and sessions that are really going to help out for the 100K challenge. 2 back-to-back sessions of over $200, totaling about $250 over those 2 sessions. Started out a little slow on the last session, but you can just see this graph just continually climb up. Gotta love when that happens. Let's take a look at some of the big hands from this session and the session before that. The win total from yesterday came to 740 big blinds. We are at an all-time high on the net one graph for the 100K challenge. We've won a total of 102 buy-ins throughout this challenge. Biggest hand of these sessions came with King 8 offsuit in the big blind. We are playing at a 100 NL table. Under the gun limps, small blind completes, and we check and see a flop. Flop is king high, 2-tone, 2 spades on the flop. We have 2 pair. I lead out for 2/3 of the pot, and we get a call from a looser player to my left who has only folded 18% of flop bets, and the small blind also calls. The turn is our money card giving us a full house, 8s over kings. The only hands we could possibly lose to would be pocket queens or pocket kings. Most likely not going to be in either of these players' hands since they both just limped pre-flop. So I bet $5 on the turn when the small blind checks to me. And now we get raised from the player to our left. This works out perfectly for our hand because we pretty much know that this player has an 8 or is betting a strong flush draw right here. So we're going to try to make it affordable for any flush draw or 8 to continue in the hand. So I raise it $20. That gives him pretty good odds in a $60 pot to continue with either the flush draw or an 8. And he does see a river. The river is a 6. There's now 78-70 in the pot. This player only has 58-46 behind. Any 8 is going to be calling a jam right here. Any flush is probably going to give up on the hand, so we're not going to make any money from a misdraw, but we will make this player's entire stack when he calls with an 8. So I jam all in, and the player does call, and we take down a pot of over $190 with the full house 8s over kings. Same table, we now have pocket queens in the cutoff. Full drawn to us, we open raise to 3x, and we get 3-bet by the small blind. This is a regular player who has only 3-bet premium hands so far, but I think we can just make a call here and play against this player in position. We also have a premium hand, which is towards the lower end of the premium range, but it will continue pretty well in position against a deep stack. Flop is ace high, 2-tone, 2 spades. We have a backdoor flush draw, but all of the premium hands that would be raising in this spot have connected with this board now. The only premium hand that we would get any of this pot with would be pocket queens when we split. This player checks back. I know that most of this player's range is beating us now, so I check back as well. And the turn is a queen, giving us second set, and now the small blind leads out for about half pot. And I just make a call here. You could argue for raising in this spot, but I don't want to scare away any hands like pocket kings that could still be in here. And now the player leads out for half pot again on the river. And this is a competent player, regular player, knows what he's doing, but I'm going to try to get as much value from him as possible. The only hand that we really lose to right now in this player's range would be pocket aces. None of the straights that would be out there would be in this player's 3-bet pre-flop range. So the question is, if we jam here, is he going to call? And he might get rid of hands like ace-king if we do jam here. So let's try to put in a bet size that we think ace-king is going to call the river with. I make it a little less than $30 for this player to call. That's very affordable into a pot of $115. Again, you could argue for me jamming all in here and saying that this player will never get rid of it. But I do see in this player's numbers that he does fold the raises on each street occasionally. So he does make the call. My guess is he did have the ace-king. And we take down the pot of $140 with the set of queens. Got a big turn there. Now we have ace-king diamonds in the big blind at a 50 NL table. Under the gun +2. Open raises to 3x. The cutoff calls. The small blind calls. And we 3-bet in the big blind to 650. It's 4.33 times the open bet. The open better under the gun +2 folds, the cutoff calls, and the small blind calls. We see a flop of rainbow king high. We have a backdoor flush draw. There's $21 in the pot. We also have top pair, top kicker, of course. And we're in a pot with two pretty deep stacks right here. I just checked back the flop since it is so dry. There's no strong draws out there. There's the possibility of a suited connector having a gut shot straight draw with a king nine, but that's really about it. The cutoff player bets 650, and I just call. The turn is the six of diamonds, giving us the nut flush draw. There's now $34 in the pot. I see that this player folds 64% to turn bets, which is a very high number. This player bet on the flop and has about the same turn numbers as flop bet numbers, so I decided to check back and let this player continue to bet if they so please. But they do check back, and we see a river, which is the jack of diamonds, giving us the nuts. I decided to just jam right here with the nuts. It looks a little bluffy. We haven't really shown any aggression besides pre-flop. Little did I know that this player also hit a flush and would never be getting rid of this hand, but I thought there was a good chance that we would get any king to call a jam here, along with a couple other hands that could think that we were on a bluff right here. So this player makes a call. We both have flushes, and we take down that pot of over $100 with the nuts. Back to the 100 NL table. We have pocket nines in the big blind. We get an open raise from the hijack player to 2x, min raise, folds around to us. We just make a call with pocket nines, and we wind up flopping a full house, nines over threes. I check back. This player has really high bet percentages on the flop, turn, and river, and this player bets half pot on the flop. I just call. Turn is the 10 of spades. I check back again. This player increases their bet size to 556, which is about 2/3 of the pot, and I decide to come back over the top and re-raise. A little bit larger than 3 times this player's bet. I want this player to chase any draw that they could have, call with any 10 that they could have. This player's got pretty loose numbers pre-flop too, so there is a possibility that there's a 3 in this player's range too, and they do make the call. The turn is the ace of clubs. None of the draws got there. There's 44.78 in the pot. We have 82 behind us. I thought about trying to overbet and make it look bluffy again, but I decided to put in a bet sizing that would be attractive to this player and who might call with something like 10s, thinking that we would split the pot. 10s and 3s, ace kicker. This player does make the call. We do not know what he had, but we pick up a pot of over $113 with the flopped full house. Still at the 100 NL table. A lot of big hands at the 100 NL today. We have pocket jacks in the cutoff. We get an open raise from middle position to min raise to 2x, and we get a 3-bet, a min 3-bet from the player to our right, and I just call here with the pocket jacks. A lot of times a min bet is going to be a strong hand, but I'm okay with playing against hands that could be beating us in position against a weaker player. Flop is 9 high, 2 tone, 2 3s on the board. Checks to the 3-better pre-flop, who bets half pot. I do make the call with the jacks, and the middle position player calls as well. We see a turn of another 3. We now have a full house 3s over jacks, and we are pretty much pot committed against either of these two players. The player who min 3-bet pre-flop, there's a good chance that this player has us beat, but I think there's an equally good chance that we are beating this player as well, especially when he checks back on the turn. Then I think we're good. Any pair higher than ours would a continuation bet and would obviously be good, because the only hand that they would be losing to really would be pocket nines. So I bet $8 on the turn, and we get a call from the player to our right. The river is an 8, and now this player leads into us. It was really a weird line from this player to take, checking the turn and then leading the river. This could be a blocker bet, but there's really no reason to put a blocker bet in when you only have 17.53 behind, because you're going to be calling that anyway when this player jams all in over the top. I'm not getting away from it. I've been pot committed, so I do make the call and see that we were up against pocket 10s and take down that pot of almost $78 with another full house. Now we're heading down to the 25 NL table. We have an open bet to a little bit smaller than 3x from under the gun plus 2, and we get a call from the hijack player, and we are 3-betting on the button with ace king. Make it $275 to go. Folds back to the hijack player, who makes a call. We see a flop of ace high 2 tone, 2 diamonds. We have a backdoor nut flush diamond draw. There's $6.55 in the pot, and the hijack player leads out for half pot. I just make a call with top pair, top kicker. The turn is the 8 of spades. There's now $12.77 in the pot. This player leads out again for half pot. There's the possibility that this player hit a set on the flop with either 3s or 9s, or they have a strong draw. draw. Or they could have a hand similar to ours with an ace in it. The only possibilities that we're losing to are 3s or 9s. So we are going to be committed here and call down this player. So I do make the call. We see a deuce of diamonds on the river. One of the flush draws got there, but we are beyond committed. This player puts us all in, and I make the call with the pair of aces, king kicker. We see that this player put in a river bluff and missed his straight draw on the river, and we take down this pot of $53 and double up on this 25 NL table. Head down to the video description for links to Hold'em Manager and America's Card Room and all the other poker products that I use. Hit that subscribe button if you guys have not done that yet. I know a lot of the people out there that are viewing these videos have not subscribed yet, so hit that subscribe button, click the settings button on the channel page, and send all notifications for this channel to make sure that you are updated on all the new videos and when I do go live playing deep in a tournament. Head down to the comment section and leave any comments or questions that you may have about this video, about any of the programs that I run. Ask away, comment away. I would be more than happy to answer any questions and would love to hear your comments about some of my plays. Give the video a thumbs up if you like it and you like this content. I'll be back with a new video very soon, but until then, I'll see you guys out on the virtual felt. Oh yeah, one last thing. The balance is currently at 27.53.23. Working our way up. Trying to get up to $4 grand before we can jump into the 200 NL games.